Railroad Preserver 2000, back again doing another video on Roblox. This is a game I didn't think I would ever come back to, and yet here we are. I know a while back when the legal issues broke, I said I would never play this game again, but yet here we are, and the reason is because of the consequences of those legal issues. Apparently, Roblox is in full-blown do-or-die mode, and apparently they've rolled out a bunch of BS stuff that's potentially going to hurt games like High Iron, one that I'm a contributor in. I did say if I ever did come back to Roblox, it would mostly be stuff relating to this game, and I'm trying to do this to drum up a little more support for them, because if they don't hit a certain viewership margin, their game will either get nerfed or taken down due to lack of, players or something to that effect. I don't know. Somebody posted something in the server that explained all this. Let me go into intermission while I find this. Alright, I found it and I'll read it out. It says, so Roblox put out some new info regarding publishing requirements. They announced that in order for a game to be eligible for all ages, first it has to get 500 unique plays from age-checked users that are 16 over the course of a month. If the game fails this check, it will never be able to try again and will be permanently locked to the highest age group forever. At the current moment, High Iron does not apparently meet this criteria despite the bar being in the right place. So, if you want our game to remain public, then I and the others at High Iron recommend strongly sharing it around and playing it yourself. If you're, 16 plus, for even the slightest chance of future updates and new content. That is what that's the information shared with us verbatim. So, in other words, if the game is not shared, it'll lose 95% of its player base, which means those making the game will lose their revenue to keep working on it, and it will no longer be sustainable and slowly die off, which is not good. So, to all who see this video, please visit High Iron and take a look at it, because they are having a major update tomorrow. That's the whole reason I'm doing this now. And I intend to visit the game once that update releases. And, I am going to make damn sure to give as much publicity as I can to this game, because High Iron is not the one I'm mad at. I'm mad at Roblox. Same with everybody. Dang, wasn't there like a run thing? Apparently all of the UI is going to be updated come tomorrow. I can't go into too much detail as to what all has been added to the game. Just know that for all you rail fans and foamers out there, I think you're going to like what Zara and the others have cooked up, because it's pretty dang impressive. Even I had to agree with that. Now, if you're curious as to why I chose Rio Grande Diesel, the answer is simple. Hartwell Railroad 3016 and 3021 were among this class of GP30 ordered by the Rio Grande. Truthfully, if some of the guys wanted to in Rails Unlimited in High Iron, all they would have to do is get the blank version of this model and repaint it into the livery similar to Hartwell Railroad, and they're set. everything else about the unit was unchanged because it was a short line owned unit. I remembered seeing it as a kid, but I don't recall ever getting photos of it, sadly. Now, can I get up in here and move? I can't get up into the engine. That's not good. Ha! Dang it! Hold on, folks. There we go. I doubt the horn is accurate because Hartwell Railroad 3016 or 3021 actually had what I believe was a fouled RS3, if I recall, or something to that effect. If y'all look at Nicholas Cavori's video on the Athens line and switching in Watkinsville back in like 2009, back when the railroad looks nothing like it does today, if you recall from my last visit, you'll recall that you'll see what I'm talking about the unit having a fouled horn. They've updated this, so that's good. I know my friend Zhenya said if they were ever able to reacquire a pair of GP30s to repaint and renumber, what they'd do is they'd keep the exterior appearance the same, but as far as the internals go, upgrade it to what a GP40-2 is, or whatever it is. Basically put all of that equipment into the inside the unit. Now what I'm looking for are flat cars, because in the last years of the rail line that I remember, the last years I remember of the Athens line, that was all they moved was storage flats and box cars. Mainly these, the Railbox box cars. Of course, there would have been no cabooses, but this is a good representation of what the railroad stored and hauled on the Watkinsville section in its last years. Now, to the guys on High Iron, if you see this, if y'all are able to model standard TTX semi-trailer flat cars and well cars, that would be way more fitting, because I remember, even now you can go along the various rail lines that under the Hartwell umbrella, Hartwell, Athens line, Great Walton, mainly Hartwell and Great Walton, you'll find like nothing but storage cars and flats all over the place. A lot of the old box cars and center beams that I remember were, I guess, hauled out for scrap later. And that's what I was afraid of. Damn thing derailed. Great. See, I genuinely wish they had a way to re-rail cars. I will say this, Iron, if y'all have a way to re-rail cars to prevent this, that would be very, very beneficial. Just saying. So Zara and company, if y'all hear this, please take notes. Dang it! Oh, this ain't good. So you can't even connect these without them derailing. That's a problem. Let me try that again. If they had a, if they have a GP9 or GP10, that would be beneficial. They got plenty of GP40s. They don't have like a GP38 or anything. I need to see if I can spawn other locomotives. Dang it! Ugh, it's not gonna let me do it. I don't know how Zara and them pulled it off for their random stuff. That would be nice to be able to make like a multiple unit set. Because Hartwell and company would use at minimum like 2, 3, sometimes 4 units. Heck, that's the reason Hartwell still has like a 3 or 4 unit lash up whenever they move. It's because they, for lack of a better term, they've got to have them. They're back as backup units. Otherwise, everything goes down. My problem is I gotta figure out. My problem is I gotta figure out how I'm gonna hook all these up, because you can't hook all these flats up without them derailing the minute you slam into them, which isn't good. You have to basically tap them. Otherwise, you're gonna have, you know, problems. Gonna get. gonna get this since it's small, and then I'll spawn another unit in once it's done. That whistle audio is probably from 4960. Oh, 5629. They're not going to have to add the Grand Trunk engine of Infamy to the game now because of that. Grand Trunk Western 5629. Good, I've got the consist made. Now I just got to get a unit that matches with what I remember. Since a lot of the time the railroad since Athens Line mostly used a GP30 for a number of years, I'm probably going to go with 3011. It's about the closest thing I could get to 3016 since the engine effectively no longer exists. Both it and 3021 were sold in, I think, 2012, 2017. Cut down into gen sets and effectively destroyed. So the original locomotives are effectively gone. Even if you could get them back, you can't make them into a full-scale locomotive again. There'd just be no point. Since the rail trackage between Athens and that Watkinsville was of such aged quality, about 15 to 20 miles an hour is about the most you can do. I want to point out that Artwell sometimes moves storage moves that are nowhere near this size. I remember seeing a video where they used their Rio Grande engine 3044 and pulled out a storage move of about 1,000 feet or more. And it's not hard for a unit of that age to move stuff like that. It's just empty flat cars and well cars. Most